Welcome to everyone. We will read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, verse 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vinoti Cheta Smarato Mamaitan. Rahapada Vabhivanya Pitro. Tatambakam Saduru Shankitanam. Prasidatam no krita nishkrutinam. It's verse 17, translation. I feel extremely sad in my heart every time I think about him offering his obeisances to his parents and executing himself towards them, saying, "O Father, O Mother," because of the fear of Kamsa. Us, Krishna and Balaram, we were forced to be ungrateful by not doing our duty towards you. Please forgive us for this. Commentary. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he quotes Uddhava. When I remember the activities of Krishna, my heart becomes afflicted. He consoled his parents for his offense in this way. O Father, O Mother, be satisfied with us too. We were greatly afraid of Kamsa. However, if this declaration is true, this is contradictory in connection to his position as the Supreme Lord. And if it is false, how can the Lord say such inexact things? In this way, I was in sadness. How can I forget his humility? One who is conforming himself to social conventions, which is nourishing his sweetness, although he has the most complete form of the Lord. His attitude pierces my heart with an arrow, such as the lamentation of Uddhava. To understand the position of Sri Krishna, we need two elements, the tattva, the philosophical truths, and rasa, the sweet feelings that he exchanges with his devotees. Although he is the supreme absolute truth, from which everything emanates from him, from which nothing moves without his sanction, from which nothing is superior or equal to him, the Lord dissimulates, just like an actor, his power for his pastimes to accomplish themselves. Otherwise, without this, how would it be possible for his devotees to take care of him, or that they would be afraid for him? His actions that are accomplished under the influence of his pastime energy have for a function to awaken feelings of love towards his devotees, and to make that the Lord becomes an object of love, absolute object of love for them. This is the reason why, without understanding these two elements, we become naturally confused by hearing about these pastimes. How can the Supreme Person, from which everything emanates, who controls, creates, and maintains and destroys everything, how can he be afraid?
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhuttade Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Sarasvati Devi Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavati Prachachara Shatari Om Shakalpataro Vyacham Kiripa Sindhu Vyacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. C'est un très joli verset.
It is a very beautiful verse
Où Krishna
where Krishna
stimule
he
effectivement
stimulates the feeling
de Vatsalya ras,
of Vatsalya
l'amour
Ras,
parental,
the
dans le
parental
cœur
love in the
de
heart
Vasudeva
of
et
Vasudeva
Devaki.
and Devaki.
On se rappelle
We do
dans ce
remember
divertissement
in this pastime
que Krishna
that Krishna,
avait pris refuge
he took shelter
de Gokul
of Gokul
par peur de Kamsa.
because he was afraid of
C'est pas que
Kamsa.
Krishna a peur.
It's not that Krishna is afraid.
On sait que lorsqu'il
We
est
know
apparu
that when
dans
he
la
appeared
prison,
in the
à
prison in Mathura,
le Seigneur
the Lord,
était visible
he was
pour
visible
Vasudeva et Devaki,
for Vasudeva and
dans sa
Devaki
forme
in his form with 4 arms of the Lord Narayan.
Et ils ont offert
And they offered prayers.
mais par le désir du Seigneur.
But due to the desire of the Lord,
Alors, Vasudeva et Devaki,
Vasudeva and
qui étaient pris dans
Devaki,
l'illusion,
who was
ils ont
taken
dit,
by illusion,
oh,
they said, "Oh,
tu es le Seigneur
you
suprême.
are the Supreme
Et
Lord,
tu es apparu
and you appeared like our child.
Qu'est-ce que Kamsa
What will Kamsa,
va penser s'il te
what
voit
will
sous
he
cette
think
forme?
if he sees you in this form?"
En même temps, il voit le
At the
Seigneur
same time, they
suprême.
see the Supreme Lord.
En même temps, il
At the
pense
same time, they
enfant.
think he is their
En même
child.
temps,
And at
ils
the
vont
same
penser
time,
que
they
Kamsa
would
a un
think that
pouvoir
Kamsa
sur lui.
has a power on Krishna.
Donc, prend
So,
une forme d'enfant.
take the form of a child.
Mais
But
Krishna était tellement
Krishna
beau.
was so beautiful.
Mais Vasudeva et Devaki
But Vasudeva and
avaient quand même
Devaki,
une
they
petite
still had
conception
a
de
small
la divinité
conception
du Seigneur.
of the divinity of the Lord.
Donc, ils ont prié
So they prayed
pour pouvoir protéger
to
ses
be
enfants.
able to protect this child.
Alors,
So
ils ont compris
they understood
ou entendu
or heard
qu'il fallait
that it was needed
amener Krishna à Gokul.
to bring Krishna to
On
Gokul.
sait que
And
les
we know
gardes sont
that
tombés
the guards fell down
endormis, que
asleep.
les chaînes de Vasudeva
That the chains
sont
of
levées,
Vasudeva,
que
they
les portes
unchained
sont
themselves.
ouvertes, et
The
qu'il a
doors
pu
opened
traverser
and he was able
la Yamuna.
to
On sait que la
go
Yamuna,
across the Yamuna.
il y avait un déluge,
We know that at the Yamuna there was a true deluge,
des vents forts, des vagues.
high waves, strong winds.
Donc Balaram a
So Balaram he accomplished the service
comme une ombrelle
just like a
pour protéger
umbrella
les
to protect the child Krishna.
Et finalement, quand ils sont arrivés
And
à
finally,
Gokul,
when they arrived in
Krishna
Gokul,
avait déjà pris
Krishna
naissance.
already had taken birth. The original Krishna, he appeared there.
Mais
But
tout le monde était endormi.
Everyone was asleep.
Et Vasudeva,
And
quand
Vasudeva,
il est arrivé
when he arrived in the chamber
de Yashoda,
of Yashoda,
il n'a pas pu voir le
he
Krishna.
was not able to see the original Krishna. It's mystical. Huh?
Mais quand il l'a
But when he
posé,
put
Vasudeva Krishna,
Vasudeva
il s'est
Krishna,
fondu dans le
he
Krishna.
merged into the original
C'est quelque
Krishna.
chose qui
It is something that is beyond us.
l'énergie, le divertissement
The
du Seigneur,
pastime energy of the Lord,
elle ne peut pas
it cannot
être comprise
be
à
understood
travers un cerveau matériel.
through a material brain.
Pas d'un petit convaincant. Krishna donne
Krishna
l'intelligence
gives
à
the
son
intelligence to
C'est
his
quelque chose qui est
devotee.
très mystique.
It is something that is
Arrivé
very
à un certain
mystical.
niveau, quand on
Arriving
chante
at a
la
certain point
Bhajana,
when we chant a pure
on
bhajan,
peut penser à
we
Braj,
can
et
think in
Braj
Braj,
apparaît. Tout ce
we
que
can
vous
think
pensez,
about
ça
Braj and
apparaît.
Braj appears. Everything you think,
Vous
it
pouvez tout
manifests.
voir.
You can see everything.
C'est comme ça.
It's like that, it manifests.
C'est le pouvoir du Saint.
It's the power of the Holy
Il
Name.
compte tous les désirs.
He fulfills all the desires. Once the
Et vous
desire
pensez
is
à
pure,
Braj,
as soon as you think about Braj,
toutes les particularités
all
peuvent
the
apparaître.
particularities
Vous
can
pouvez
appear.
voir toutes les choses.
And you can see all things.
C'est la nature du
It
Saint.
is the nature of the Holy Name.
Mais qu'est-ce que vous voyez en premier?
But what do you see first? Guru.
Vous, en premier.
Guru first.
Le gourou
The Guru,
vous apprend votre service.
he teaches you your service.
Par exemple,
For example,
si
if
vous êtes situé dans
you are
tel ou tel
situated
rasa.
in such or
Alors, on
such
va pas
rasa.
parler d'un rasa particulier.
We'll
Mais
not
tout
speak
est
about a
merveilleux,
particular
voilà.
rasa because everything is wonderful
Mais
in Braj.
il
But
y a toutes sortes
there's
de
all
baies,
kinds
de fleurs.
of flowers, of berries.
Parfois, Krishna
Sometimes
fait
Krishna,
des colliers
he
pour
makes
Srimati Radharani.
like necklaces for Srimati
Et les
Radharani.
plantes donnent
And
des
the
joyaux
plants, they give
particuliers.
particular jewels.
Et les joyaux,
And the jewels,
ils ont aussi
they have also
une
the
capacité
capacity
de recevoir
to
les
receive
sentiments de Krishna.
the
C'est très
feelings of
particulier.
Krishna.
C'est comme des
It's very
messagers.
particular. They're like messengers.
Il y a des messagers
There are
qui ont une
messengers who
forme
have
humaine,
a human
si
form,
on peut dire.
if we can say
Quelque
that.
part, c'est ce qui
Somehow it
serait
is
le
what
plus
would be the most
recevable.
acceptable, because there are 2 feet, 2 hands, one
Les
hand,
corps,
but the
les
bodies
habitants de
of the inhabitants of
Vrindavan
Vrindavan
aussi différents
are completely also different
des nôtres.
from ours,
Que ça soit au niveau des
whether it
yeux,
is in the level of
au niveau
the
de la
eyes,
beauté.
of the
Mais
beauty.
on va dire
I
forme,
will say
parce que
human
c'est
form
ce qui va
because
plus,
that will be what
s'aggarager à
will
ce qu'on connaît.
be closest to what we know.
Et donc,
And so
voilà, je ne veux pas trop
I
parler
don't
de
want
tout ça.
to speak so much about all of this.
Mais le point,
And the
c'est quand on
point is,
rencontre vous,
when we meet
véritablement,
Guru truly,
quand on est introduit dans le monde
when we are
transcendantal,
introduced in the transcendental world,
nous
Guru,
apprend sur
he
les arts
teaches
de
us
Vrindavan,
about the art of
sur les
Vrindavan,
fleurs.
about the flowers.
Par exemple, quelqu'un
For
peut
example,
être
someone
formé
can be
pour
trained
faire des allées de fleurs,
to make
des guirlandes de fleurs,
flower
des
garlands,
sandales,
like alleys of
toutes
flowers,
sortes
sandalwood,
de services.
all kinds of services.
Et chaque chose a une
But each thing
définition
has
particulière, parce que comme
a particular
chaque chose
necessity,
est en
because
rapport
since
avec les
everything,
sentiments Radha et
each thing is
Krishna,
in connection to the feelings of Radha and Krishna, everything is
il n'y
codified.
a pas de spéculation.
There's no
On n'a pas le
speculation.
pouvoir
We
de
don't have the
changer les
power
choses
to
dans
change
Radha.
things in Braj.
C'est pas possible.
It's not possible.
Par exemple,
For
moi
example,
ici, je peux dire, bon,
here I
je
can
vais
say,
mettre la troisième page
I
sur
will
la
put the
deuxième
third page on the
C'est pour ça
second,
qu'on est
before the
conditionné.
second. That's why we're conditioned.
Parce qu'on a le
Because we
pouvoir
have
de
the
se prendre
power
pour Dieu.
to
Mais à
think
Braj,
we're
c'est pas
God, but
possible.
in Braj it
Parce
is
que
not
tout est
possible
supérieur.
because everything is
Tout est
superior.
émerveillement,
Everything
tout est
is
plus qualifié que nous-mêmes.
astonishment, everything is
Donc,
more
quand
qualified
on
than
rentre
us.
face
So when
à
we
un élément,
come in
on
face
n'a
to
pas
an
le
element,
pouvoir de le
we don't
changer.
have the power
On
to
a
change
juste
it.
le
We
pouvoir
just have the power
d'accompagner
to
un
accompany
sentiment,
a feeling,
de servir le sentiment
to
du
serve
Guru.
the feeling of the
Et
Guru.
là, on devient
And then we become completely, naturally
d'une manière
fulfilled
sans limite.
in an unlimited way.
C'est pourquoi
This is why
cette étape de
this step of introduction in the transcendental world, by
c'est
the grace of the Guru,
une étape où on
it is a
sort du
step
conditionnement
where we come out of material conditioning
et on arrête de
and we
vouloir
stop
contrôler la
wanting to
terre.
control matter.
Parce que l'expérience
Because
de
the
Braj,
experience of Braj
naturellement,
naturally
enlève
takes away
définitivement
definitely
cette conception de pouvoir.
this conception of being able to control. It's finished after that.
On devient pur.
We become pure.
C'est graduel.
It is gradual.
Mais à un moment, il y a
But at
cette
some point,
conception.
there is this conception. Guru comes to take us.
Quand on est
When
prêt
we
pour
are
ça,
ready for this, then it comes.
Quand on est fatigué du monde
When we are
matériel,
tired of the material one, when we cry for Krishna,
c'est pas si simple.
it's not so simple.
Pas si simple.
It's not so
Mais ça vient
simple,
graduellement.
but it comes gradually.
Quand on dit
When we say
pleurer,
cry,
quand on dit
crying,
dégoûter du monde matériel,
when we say
ça veut
disgusted
pas
of
dire
the
qu'on met tout
material
le
one,
monde à la poubelle.
that doesn't mean that we put everyone at the on
Mais
the
il faut
garbage.
que,
But
ensemble,
let us say that together,
la conception
the
d'aimer
conception
Krishna
of loving
et de vouloir
Krishna
connaître
and
notre
wanting to
réalité,
know a reality awakens.
c'est-à-dire qu'il y a l'entraide.
That means
Si on est
there's
marié, on
there's
est
help.
entraide.
If we're married, there's help. You know.
C'est pour ça que, par exemple, le
For example,
mariage,
that's why marriage
et
is
ça se
like
complète.
it is a half of another part, and it becomes
Pourquoi
complete.
si la femme
That's
est
why
plus
if the
avancée
wife
que
is more advanced than the
l'homme,
man,
l'homme plus avancé
or the
que la
man more
femme,
advanced than the
les
woman,
deux
both
ont le même
they get
bénéfice.
the same benefit.
Or,
However,
dans ce
Et-
passage,
in this verse,
c'est expliqué
it is explained
la conception
the conception
du tattva, des
of the
vérités
tattva, of the
philosophiques,
philosophical
et du
truths
rasa,
and
des
rasa,
sentiments d'amour. Il faut
sweet
la
feelings of
connaissance
love.
des deux.
We need knowledge and we need both.
Mais je dirais
But I would say
que la connaissance philosophique
that
va
philosophical
naturellement
knowledge will naturally
en premier.
First,
notre première étude est la Bhagavad Gita.
the first study is Bhagavad Gita.
Et par l'étude de la
And by
Bhagavad
the study
Gita,
of Bhagavad Gita,
on peut naturellement
we can naturally understand the importance of taking shelter in the spiritual master, of following his instructions,
de prendre l'initiation,
of taking initiation from the spiritual master.
suivre les instructions de Srila
Follow the
Prabhupada.
instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami.
Et à partir de là, naturellement,
And from there,
à travers
naturally,
le service offert à
through the
Krishna,
service offered to
le
Krishna,
rasa, la conception
the
de
rasa,
rasa,
the
elle
conception
va
of rasa,
naturellement
will
accompagner.
naturally accompany
Parce que la vérité
the
absolue, elle
truth,
n'est jamais dépourvue
because the absolute truth is never void of sweet
Quand on
feelings.
étudie
When we study
sous le refuge
under
du
the
guide
shelter
spirituel
of
authentique,
an authentic spiritual
on atteint
lineage,
naturellement la
we attain
connaissance
naturally
de rasa.
the knowledge of rasa, because both
Ne peuvent jamais
can never be
être dissociés.
dissociated.
Pourquoi dans les véritables
That's why
Vaishnavas,
in the true
il y a
Vaishnavas,
toujours
there there's always rasa,
hein? Toujours.
always.
C'est toujours entremêlé.
It's always mixed.
Parce que notre but
Because our goal
de la vérité,
of the truth
elle est de développer le
is
sentiment
to develop
d'amour.
sweet feelings of love for Krishna.
On a
That's why
cette philosophie.
We
Cette
have this
philosophie,
philosophy.
elle a été
This
sous
philosophy
le commandement de
was
Chaitanya
under the
Mahaprabhu,
commandment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
énoncée par les Goswamis,
enunciated by the Goswamis of Vrindavan, the associates of the
pour nous
Lord,
permettre,
to allow
à
us
travers la
to
vérité,
the
de
truth,
changer
to change
notre conception
our
de
conception
l'existence.
of existence,
Et à travers ces
and through
enseignements,
these
de
teachings
développer les
to
douze
develop
sentiments.
sweet feelings of
C'est
love.
pourquoi
That is why
on ne devrait jamais penser
we should never
que
think
lorsqu'on étudie,
that when we
par
study,
exemple,
for
le livre de
example,
Prabhupada,
the books of Prabhupada,
que les sentiments ne sont
that the
pas.
feelings are not there.
Pourquoi?
Why?
Parce que
Because
le pur dévot,
the pure devotee of Krishna,
surtout un
especially
tel associé du Seigneur,
such associate of the Lord,
n'agit jamais
he never acts
indépendamment,
independently,
mais toujours sur
but
les
always
instructions
under
de
the
Shri.
instructions of Sri Radha.
Shri Radha, c'est
Shri
notre
Radha,
commandant.
she is our commandant.
Hein, c'est
Commander,
quelque chose de très important.
it is something that is
On
very
est des
important.
Gaudias.
We are Gaudias.
Shri Radha, c'est notre
Shri Radha
commandant.
is our
Et on
commander,
est engagé
and we're engaged
à travers ses servants
through her
dans
maidservants in
un service.
our service.
Or,
However,
les grands acharyas,
the great
tels que Srila
acharyas,
Prabhupada,
such as Srila Prabhupada,
reçoivent
they receive
des ordres.
orders.
Alors,
So,
ordre, c'est un mot
order
qui quelque part
is a word
dur.
that is somehow a little hard.
Dire des instructions.
Well, let us say instructions.
L'instruction et l'ordre, c'est un peu la même chose.
Because instruction or an order, it's kind of the same thing. We're arguing on this.
C'est pas que
It's
Srila
not that
Prabhupada
Srila Prabhupada,
a écrit
he
le
wrote
Srimad
the Srimad
Bhagavatam
Bhagavatam
à son propre désir.
on his own volition,
Oui, je vais
desire.
écrire le Bhagavatam.
Yes, I will write the Bhagavatam
Bhagavad Gita, oui.
because I wrote the Bhagavad Gita, then I wrote the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Upadeshamrita, and
L'enseignement de
the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. I will write this also in the Krishna book and
Upanishad,
Upanishad, Shishopanishad,
je
and
vais faire ça, j'ai rien à faire.
I have nothing to do, so I will do this.
Non, ça se passe pas comme ça.
It doesn't happen like this.
En fait, dans le
In
royaume
fact, in the superior
il
kingdom,
y a une grande compassion.
there's a great compassion.
Et c'est ça qui est très difficile à
And this is what is very
Parce
difficult
qu'à
to
la fois, ils
understand.
sont complètement absents.
Because at the same time, they are completely absorbed in the sweet feelings,
Et à la fois, ils sont
and at the same
compassionnés.
time, they are compassionate.
C'est très difficile à
It is very difficult to
Les sentiments
understand.
de Radha et Krishna,
Because the
c'est
feelings of Radha and
comment ils
Krishna, it
peuvent-
is without
comment il
limits.
peut avoir une
How
place
can there be a
pour
place
la compassion
for
quand ils
compassion
sont
when they love each other?
Et pourtant,
But
tout
and
ça,
still,
c'est accompli.
all of this is accomplished.
En même temps,
At the same time,
ils ont
They
complètement
have-
fusionné dans l'amour.
they completely fusioned
Et
in love,
parallèlement,
and
ils sont
in
conscients de la
parallel,
détresse
they
de
are conscious of the distress of the living
la-
entities. It is impossible to understand.
Mais la descente des
But the
associés du
descent
Seigneur
of the associates of
en
the
sont
Lord
la preuve.
is the proof of it.
Sans ça, ils ne viendraient pas.
Otherwise, they will not come down.
On ne devrait jamais penser
We should never think that Prabhupada,
il est tombé du monde
he fell down from the transcendental world
et qu'il s'est cassé
and
la figure
he
dans
broke,
derrière.
he broke his head, his face in the material one, and then he scratched his head and he said, "Oh, I made a bad choice, so I have to repair my mistake. I will do service, and maybe Radharani will forgive me."
Non, ça c'est pas la
No, this is not the conception.
La bonne conception,
The good
c'est la
conception
compassion.
is compassion.
Ils ont été compassionnés.
They were
Ils ont
compassionate.
pensé à nous.
They thought about
Ils
us.
nous connaissent tous.
They all know us.
Ils savaient
They
qui
knew
allait être touché.
who will be
Parce
touched.
que le Seigneur connaît
Because
tout.
the Lord knows everything.
Le futur, il
The
connaît
future, He knows everything.
tout. Donc il envoie son
So He
assistant
sends His
en
associate
savant,
by knowing
en sachant tout
everything,
que les êtres vont pouvoir être sauvés.
everything
Chaque
what
personne,
each person that will be able to be saved.
tout est
Everything,
su d'avance.
everything is known
Pensez
previously.
pas qu'il y a des hasards.
Don't think there's coincidence.
Il y a un libre arbitre,
There's a free will,
mais il est tout petit.
but it is very small.
En fait, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
In fact,
il veut
Chaitanya
sauver
Mahaprabhu,
tous.
he wants to save everyone.
C'est la prophétie.
It is the
Dans
prophecy.
chaque ville et chaque
Each
village,
town and
le
each
nom
village.
sera chanté.
You know, the name will be chanted.
C'est pour ça que Srila Prabhupada,
That's why Srila Prabhupada came.
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
est venu
he came
comme
like
le Sakyavesh
the
Avatar,
Shaktavesh avatar,
celui qui a été mis
the
en
one who
pouvoir
was empowered
pour répondre à la
to
compassion de
answer
Srila.
to the compassion of Sri Radha.
C'est très élevé.
It is really ecstatic.
Ça veut dire que par le
That
souvenir
means
de
that
Prabhupada,
by the remembrance of
on peut
Prabhupada,
complètement aider
we can completely be delivered
du sommeil,
from sleep,
de tout.
from everything,
Être engagé dans
Be
le
engaged.
service.
in the pure devotional service.
Et c'est logique,
And it is
parce qu'il
logical
a été envoyé pour.
because he was sent for this.
C'est le réceptacle
He is the
de la
receptacle
compassion.
of
Et
compassion,
la forme de la
is the form of compassion,
du désir de Radha
of the
et
desire of
Krishna
Radha and
de sauver.
Krishna to save us all. That's why he descended.
La preuve, alors,
The proof is where?
quand il est apparu,
When he appeared, Prabhupada.
qu'est-ce que l'astrologue a dit?
What did the
Il ne
astrologer
s'est pas gratté la tête en disant-
astrologer said?
en disant, c'est un
He didn't scratch his head by saying it's a poor good guy.
Il a juste rencontré
He would just
un être
encounter a spiritual master and after they would deliver. Everyone?
Non,
No.
il a prophétisé
He
que ça serait
prophesied that it will be a person out of the
qui
ordinary
ouvrirait 108 ans
that would open 108 temples and that would spread the teachings of the Supreme Lord everywhere.
C'était déjà.
It was already written.
Quand Prabhupada dit
When Prabhupada
Krishna m'a
says,
envoyé,
Krishna sent me,
ça veut dire ce que ça veut dire.
it means what it means.
Alors un Vaishnava, c'est
So Vaishnava is one.
qu'est-ce que ça veut dire?
But what does that mean?
Je suis la forme de la compassion.
I am the form of compassion of the Lord.
Par moi, tout le monde peut aider.
Through me, everyone can be delivered.
C'est pourquoi il faut avoir foi.
That's why we must have faith in Prabhupada.
C'est très important.
It's really important.
Quand on adore la forme
When
de
we
Prabhupada,
worship the form of
on peut
Prabhupada,
recevoir
we can receive
la complète compassion de Dieu.
the complete compassion of Sri Radha.
Quand on est néophyte,
When we are neophyte,
on fait les choses
We do
sans savoir
things
ce qu'on fait.
without knowing what we do.
Quelque chose,
We find ourselves in something and
on est complètement absorbé
we're completely
dans le
absorbed in the pillow
et on
and
manque
we lack
l'occasion
the occasion
de pouvoir
to be able
comprendre ce qu'on fait.
to understand what we
C'est
do.
pas que ça n'a pas d'effet.
It's not that it doesn't have effect, but it takes longer.
Par exemple,
For example,
Prabhupada disait,
Srila Prabhupada would say,
lorsqu'on
yes,
prend un médicament,
when we
sans
take a
savoir
medicine,
son effet,
even
ça
without
marche.
knowing its effect, it works.
Mais
But
c'est plus long.
it takes longer.
Donc,
So,
pour que ça soit plus rapide,
for this to be faster,
on a besoin
we need knowledge.
on a besoin
We need
de comprendre ce
to understand what we do.
Et c'est vrai, c'est pas facile.
And it is true, it is not easy.
L'énergie matérielle, elle est dure. hein.
The material energy is
On se
difficult.
lève, on est fatigué.
We wake up, we're tired,
On se retrouve
we find ourselves
dans une salle. On comprend
in a
pas
room, we
toujours
don't
ce qu'on
always understand what we do.
fait. Quand on chante, on a
When
pas
we
toujours
chant, we don't
goût.
always have
Quand on
taste.
cuisine,
When we cook,
quand on distribue
when
des
we
livres,
distribute
toutes
books,
les activités, c'est
all
pas
the activities, it's not easy.
Mais
But
il faut quand même un temps
we need
toujours
still
dans notre
a
vie
time
pour
always in our
examiner
life
ce
to
qu'on fait,
examine what we
essayer de
do
comprendre.
and try to understand what we do. It's really important
Parce que ça va nous
because
permettre
it will allow us
d'éveiller notre
to awaken our
Et il
consciousness.
faut prier.
And we have to pray. It's really important.
Il faut prier la
We
forme
need to pray the form of compassion, Prabhupada.
Il faut développer
we must develop a relationship with Prabhupada.
C'est vraiment très important.
It's really important.
Maharaj
was speaking yesterday about the spiritual master.
C'est pas faux.
It's not false what he
Mais c'est
says,
pas approprié.
but it's not appropriate.
Pourquoi?
Why?
Parce que dans le monde
Because in the
transcendantal,
transcendental world,
c'est le chef de groupe.
it is the group leader that engages us.
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
est notre chef de groupe.
is our group leader.
C'est pas une autre personne.
It's not another person.
Alors bien sûr, on peut se
Well, of course, we can find ourselves
des sous-chefs
with under group leaders,
parce que
sub group leaders,
pour gérer
because there
des
need to
millions de
be
personnes,
to deal with millions of people. You need.
c'est pas évident.
It's not easy.
Alors bien sûr,
So of course,
le chef de groupe, il a
the group leader, he has the
pouvoir
unlimited power to multiply himself like Krishna.
C'est sans limite.
It is unlimited.
Il peut être à la fois
It can be at the same time in Golok Vrindavan,
dans le monde de Krishna.
in the world of
Il
Krishna,
peut être à la fois
and it can be at the same time in Boma Vrindavan,
dans un univers
in a universe where Krishna he performs his pastimes.
Il peut être à la
It can
fois
be at the same
dans
time
des milliers
in
et des milliers de formes,
thousands and thousands of forms,
en train d'animer des milliers et des milliers
animating thousands and thousands of groups.
de Ils sont sans limite.
They're without
Ils
limits.
sont comme Krishna.
They are like Krishna,
C'est des mots.
these devotees.
C'est pas des êtres ordinaires.
They are not ordinary beings.
Ils sont manifestés.
They are
par-
manifested by the Lord.
C'est comme Shilada.
It is like Sri Radha,
Prend différentes
who
formes
takes different
de
forms
Saki.
of Sakis, of Gopis.
Bah, c'est la même manière.
But it is the same way.
Tellement de personnes.
So many persons, inconceivable, they inhabit the transcendental world.
C'est pourquoi on
That
n'a
is
aucun
why
moyen
we have no means
de ne pas être fasciné.
to not be
D'avoir un
completely
moment,
astonished
un emploi où on
and have a moment where we scratch our head
aucun goût,
and we have no taste, and
juste la boue.
just as mud.
Qu'est-ce que je fais là?
What am I doing here?
C'est le monde matériel.
The material world is like that. The transcendental world.
C'est pas possible.
It's not possible.
Mais bref,
But
chacun a le droit de penser comme il
everyone has the right to think like he wants. It is the nature of faith.
Bon, on va s'arrêter.
So we will stop here.
Oh,
Hari